Hello to all my beautiful nerds traveling across the vast universe, and welcome back. And today I am back at my vanity doing a makeup story time. Yay! It's been a long time since I did one of these, and that was telling my story about the weird fan encounter and what happened during the masquerade, the Crystal Carnival, or the Ruby dance last year during 2018. This one is more recent because, well, something took place and it dealt with my cane, and it ended up being broken. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It ended up being broken during Holiday Matsuri. I know, it sucks, but what can you do? It happened, and I'm also going to include some tips and pointers for any conventions out there that may have attendees that are visually impaired. And I am going to link to my post over on Nerdy Chic Universe, the WordPress page, about how to make your conventions more accessible to the blind. Because there are times when you do have one person or a couple that are noise sensitive, but not everybody has the same disability. So I am gonna include some tips on handling people with visual impairments, and also gonna tell you guys, hey, check out the link down below with that post. I was gonna do the Naked Cherry palette look, but I'll do it next week or probably the week after because, well, it looks like my schedule for recording is going to be Sundays, otherwise convention weekends. That's when we would be doing the videos and we'll be uploading. Don't worry, we are uploading the stuff from this past Holiday Matsuri. We still have 2 panels that need to go up, opening ceremonies and the voice actors panel from always every single Saturday type convention thing. So hoping we could get those up and to you guys soon. So stay tuned to the Twitter if you can. Sorry if I forgot to put the social media links last time because, well, being exhausted after a day of recording and also after a week of working, well, that does happen. So sorry about that. I'm gonna make sure I do that from now on. Unless if you've probably seen our past videos, also the links are in those. So I'll remember. And of course, I should put that in the tasks app on my BrailleSense Polaris. So let's get into this, shall we? Makeup story time. I'm also going to be trying out new brushes that I got through Ipsy and BoxyCharm recently. And speaking of BoxyCharm, the palette that I'm using today is the Tarte Rainforest Under the Sea palette that I got through BoxyCharm this month. This was the palette that they get to Charmers for January, and I got a lot of stuff, which I did post about that over on the WordPress side, which now I'm separating the BoxyCharm and Ipsy posts from each other, but we'll put them together in the favorites to see how the products work out for both boxes for both January and February, which I've been doing that a lot with the bi-monthly favorites with Ipsy. Now I'm going to be doing that for Ipsy and Boxy. Yep. So let's get into using this palette. Let's see. Let me see about the brushes. Okay, found them. Found my IB Beauty brushes. Got these through Ipsy because very first bag back to Ipsy included a brush by IB Beauty, and I enjoyed that brush a lot. And I got a starter set of 6 brushes. I used the angled brush on my brows with my Tame and Frame pomade. But back to start with the story. Okay, which brush should I use for my lid color? Maybe I should... This is more fluffier, but it would make sense for all over my lid. So first shade I'll be going in with all over my lid is Tiki. Okay. Okay, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So, if I'm correct, Tiki is second shade in. But now let's tell a little bit of backstory first. So, I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa when I was 15 years old. This was around 2001. And, well, I still had vision throughout high school, but I did get introduced to the blind cane around high school time. And I remember carrying it with me during my senior year of high school because my O&M instructor told me to get used to it, just carry it with you. So many of my classmates asked me, what is the stick for? And I explained I am blind with RP, explaining it to them. Six. So, anyways. So, yeah, I explained that way, and of course I still got made fun of for it. Because a lot of people a lot of teens didn't understand, being blind is not an easy feat. Try to be picked on mostly in Spanish class for being the blind chick, But I did survive during high school, graduated, and then went and started my AA degree. And that was when my vision started giving out. My right eye started doing like a spinny focusing thing. And I didn't know it was what was it was actually going on. Someone pointed it out when I was at JCon that year. Okay, I'm going. Next shade I'm going into is Jewel. I'm hoping I'm going into Jewel. Which is second to last shade. And that's when I officially picked up my cane after realizing I cannot draw anymore. It kind of sucked because I enjoyed drawing a lot of stuff. I mean, I still have my color pencils to this day because sometimes Gondress does use them to help with classwork or designing my Pokemon patches. So I kept those over the years and kept on using my blind cane. And that's how makeup became my newest creative outlet for many years to come. So, fast forward to. Anyways, back to picking up the cane. I knew it was going to eventually happen, that I would start using the blind cane. I even got better mobility skills after going back to the blind rehab center and learning better cane skills. And even having a longer cane because I am 5'8", and each cane is supposed to go up to your breastbone area, apparently. And I had really short canes for the longest time, and I still have some of them to this day as backups, just in case. And that's what I had to use after what had happened. So fast forward to 2018, Holiday Matsuri. Trust me, I was excited for the convention, even though the press was not going all right. Like, we didn't have the Google Hangouts like we were supposed to due to time crunching. Next, I'm going into Raise, which is shade number 5, and putting that in my crease. Couldn't make it to the hangout over at Volcano Bay since I was moving here and didn't have the funds since I did have to pay my power deposit for FPL and all that, even go grocery shopping and so much more until, first paycheck comes in. But of course, Holiday Matsuri does arrive. So the convention, we did come in late for on that Friday because we didn't have any set schedule to go to any events all that afternoon. Which kind of was a bit of a bummer because that helps me with knowing what we're doing most of the day. So, yep. We didn't have much to do that day, but we did meet up with everyone with the hotel and with our nerdy shirts for the hotel stay and everything. But the parking was crazy though, because apparently there were 2 other events going on during the weekend, which were a military ball and a business type convention in one of the other halls, like towards the west wing of the convention. So a lot of the hotel space got taken up, and especially with hotel rooms. So we were supposed to get a queen, like a 2 queen setup, like 2017's convention, but those ended up being sold out, so we ended up with the king size and a couch, which Chandras and I ended up having the bed during the 2 days we stayed. Hoping with what is it, Omni Fandom Expo, that doesn't happen with us, where we were supposed to have the queen size, since we did just put in the reservation recently for the hotel room. So hoping this time it doesn't end up being like that. But anyways, back to the story. So even though the room was pretty nice, despite it being slightly smaller than it was for this thing, for this for the hotel room, but we made it work for those 2 days. Like, kind of sucked that most of the room that we really hoped for again was sold out due to how many events were going on. For my brow, going in with the first shade Edge. I'm hoping it is Edge, because it's not easy not being able to see this palette in the light. This is a pretty pigmented palette. It's been forever since I used a Tarte Shadow palette, since my Graveyard Girl video, when I did all those palette collabs. But anyways, so first day, no issues. I did get sighted help to get to the Yaoi After Dark panel with Toby and Vivi's help. No issues there. Saturday is when a lot more people... Ooh, great, I broke more of my eyeliner. Crap. Oh man. Guess I have to use a black one with this look. When did that become a musical? Don't mind me, I am just being a nerd. But, anyways, that was when everything happened on Saturday during the convention, where a lot more people do show up for this event. It is always the busiest out of the three because a lot more events take place, and was not expecting for what I'm gonna tell you happened. Let me see if I can find this black liner. So yeah. Wait a second. I have a two-sided eyeliner here. Hold on. Which has a black and a brown on both sides. Yep, found it. So, oh. So anyways, I'm going to use one side on my top part of the eye. And use the other side for my bottom lid. Bottom line. So, we agreed to meet up with Nerdy Shirts for the voice actors panel at noon, since we were supposed to talk to the guest relations guys about getting the interviews done during the weekend, because they didn't give us a full-on interview schedule, which they were supposed to, but they had to do a lot of work to confirm some time slots and everything. So I finally say, hey, can we just meet up with you to discuss in person? And it was fine. So we would be doing that after the voice actors panel. So me and Gondris got ready. He had to get his full-on doctor outfit. Okay, for mascara today. He got the outfit on, and it's a very bulky outfit because it's the fourth Doctor from Doctor Who. I'll be using superhero mascara sample from that I got on a birthday through Ulta. And he was walking in front of me. We are on the first level. I was L from Death Note, by the way, wearing a Santa hat. And I'm walking behind him. A nice safe distance in case if I need him for his sighted guide, because World Center is huge for a blind person to walk. I mean, during Omni Expo, even first year, I was glad to have a volunteer help me walking around some of the areas, even finding the bathroom in that highly lit corridor, hallway area. But, anyways, so we're walking towards the main events ballroom. We kind of got lost, but we turned around to try to find it. So, walking, as we walked, I noticed some movement in my peripheral because, well, that's how I'm able to see nowadays. It was a person walking as well. But I'm walking forward, this person is coming from the side and from my right. And normally you would be walking around a blind person. Which is the proper way if you see them walking with their cane. But no. This person had the bright idea to walk in front, end up getting their foot caught in my cane, and caused a huge crack sound, and caused my cane to fold in a nasty way and caused it to crack at joints. And the person looked and saw my cane and yelled, "I didn't know." I had similar situations happen to me back during UCF, back to my days of UCF, because a lot of people did not see me walking with my cane. They either bumped into me, especially my arms, even with hot coffee in my hand. And that always ticked me off. Even some person did that same thing, but my cane never broke in the student union. I'm using my green concealer from NYX Cosmetics until we spray painted the cane green, because my friends back at UCF in our little nerd corner of the student lounge on the 3rd floor noticed how frustrated I was, and she suggested that we should spray paint my cane green. And it worked out when I was graduating, by the way, at this time, back in 2000. No, wait, this was before I graduated, actually, a year before I graduated. She knows how frustrated I was, and she was the one who suggested I should spray paint it a different color, and it worked out a lot better. But here's due to how bright the student union got due to the white walls and everything. Here at the World Center, you could see a blind cane against a dark background, which there were some areas with darker backgrounds and darker carpeted areas too, which you could see, okay, glider cane tip. Yeah, glider cane tip against a dark carpet. And that's easy to see. And now I'm going to use, to stop from the story for a moment. I tried using the HD concealer wand from NYX. It did not work out for me because it was put on my concealer not so great onto my face with the wand. I'm sorry, NYX. I prefer your concealer pots more. I tried. So when I bought stuff from the website, that reminds me, I didn't get to use the in my inner corners, which I got this little shimmery shadow. It's new. But back to the story. But this person, I am not sure if they didn't realize, person with blind cane walking, I need to walk around. And all the other conventions I've been to, when they see my cane, they know they step aside or wait until I pass so they could pass. No. Not this person. Nope. They walked and caused what? Just how I explained it. And when we met up with Nerdy Shirts after the voice actors panel, he was like, "Oh, bleep." Sorry, I had to censor that. He's like, "Oh, man. I can't believe that happened." I'm like, I know, we couldn't believe it happened either. So we went back to the TARDIS. That's how we referred to Gondress's car, because it looks like the TARDIS. So we got there, grabbed an umbrella for me to use for the meantime until I got back to work to see about getting a new cane through the mobility department. So it was not fun trying to use an umbrella as your replacement cane. Apparently someone I knew that works was at the convention, but he didn't recognize me as Elle. I did tell him I was cosplaying as Elle and told him what happened, that I had to use an umbrella. And he's like, "Oh, I did see you, but I didn't come up." And I was like, "It's okay." I felt a little embarrassed during the rest of the weekend using an umbrella as my cane. I did not do too bad with the sliding the cane, acting like 2-point touch, shorelining, and all that. But you could tell I was miserable through most of my time using that thing as my cane. We even explained to Keith Silverstein when I was trying to shake his hand. We got to meet Keith Silverstein, that I was blind. My cane ended up breaking during the event. He was like, "Sorry to hear that. Hope you could get it fixed somehow." Then we explained to even when I did the interviews with Brittany Karbowski and Jennifer Hale, I had to sit and stand and be guided to the couch right next to them. And we had to explain my cane was broken. I couldn't walk too freely around the room that we were in due to what had happened to my cane. They're like, oh, sorry, hear that? It was like a terrible thing that happened. But they were pretty amazed that I still do what I do as part of press. You know what? I'm going to try one of these brushes for foundation. Because even though I like using one of my sponges for blending, but yeah, I was really missing my cane throughout the rest of the weekend a lot. And the thing was, while we got back to the room, Gondress kind of pointed out something that he blames the comic Homestuck for this, because years ago there was a really popular comic. Maybe I should try this for foundations when I blend my foundation. Years ago, there was a comic called Homestuck, which kind of takes the idea of if I'm remembering correctly from Linkara's review, somewhat post-apocalyptic world with an online game, from one understanding. And in the world, you become a troll type thing where you are monochromatic, as in gray, completely gray, having candy corn horns, all that stuff. There were, around 2012, there was a really huge popularity spike in Homestuck. It kind of died down by 2013, 2014, I believe, because I remember seeing cosplayers at Metro, and there was a panel for Homestuck, but for the Blind Experience panel that I did that year, or somewhat the Blind Experience. But anyways, probably another story for another time, but still, back to the story. So there was one character in the comic apparently that was blind, even had a cane too. I even researched her, and during AFO 2012, that's when someone cosplayed as this blind character, except this character basically swings her cane and hits people over the head. And the person cosplaying, I think I've seen the motion, was doing that at the convention, which you're not supposed to. And apparently there were people confusing my cane as a prop. Even some guy was standing right next to me, talking to me in Gondress, and he sees my cane, grabs it by the grip, does this, lift, drop, lift, drop. And I noticed what was going on, pointed my right eye in his direction, and say, stop doing that. That is my actual cane. I am blind. And he's like, oh my god, I did not know. And we realized what he was probably thinking. I was cosplaying from Homestuck, but I was doing my Dark Firm Dean Angel cosplay. This is a really good brush for something from BoxyCharm, by the way. I'm doing a bit of... I'm liking it for foundation. I think I prefer using these kind of brushes for foundation blending, since I do love using my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation a lot. But anyways, and I have a feeling the person who walked over my cane and caused it to break during Matsuri said that because probably I can't really say if it was a he or he, can't really tell the voice. They pretty much might have read the comic and realized, did not know that I was visually impaired with a cane. But again, all thanks to Homestuck, Gondress basically said, all thanks to Homestuck, we are seen as fictional characters. And like I said, that I was seen as cosplaying as this particular character back in 2012. And I was not cosplaying as this character. I am actually blind and I do cosplay. That's how I'm seeing it. Because, truth be told, there is no rule in cosplay that you have to be fully sighted, especially when designing. To tell you the truth, I don't see really any rules in cosplay. Okay, going into powder. And grabbing both of my Wet n Wild powders in warm beige and neutral beige. Let's see what brush I should use. There's this big mofo. Sorry for my language. Well, and there's this one from you know what? I'm using this one from IB Beauty because I think it's easier to handle. Or I should have used that really big one for foundation. Oh, but I think it would be bigger than my entire face. But anyways, back to everything. So yeah, tried using the umbrella as my cane for the rest of the weekend, but on the way trying to get our stuff back to the TARDIS, I ended up running into the wall. A wall. Because I couldn't see where I was really going, and Gondress was holding his cooler, and we had to walk all the way from East Tower to the South parking garage, where he parked, where he was lucky to find a parking spot. Wait. and I ran into a wall. And Nerdy Shirts noticed what had happened and came and rescued me. And I was like, I missed my cane. I almost cried out of frustration because of what happened. And Gondress finally handed my cane back to me, and we decided to find somebody to help us try to get a temporary solution. Okay. For contouring, it said when I first bought this brush that I could also contour from the IB Beauty, which is also supposed to be used for blush, but I'm going to use it for contouring, and I'll be using my new NYX matte bronzer in light that I picked up recently. So we tried finding apparently a Tony Stark that was doing cosplay repairs, but couldn't find them. But we ended up finding a vendor's table that sold all these shirts that we remembered for many years. And one of the guys did recognize us because we sometimes drop by his stand. And we really didn't have the funds to buy anything every single time, unfortunately. Still want to buy the Deadpool Green Ranger shirt that they made. But back to what's going on. So we explained what had happened, like the cane ended up breaking due to somebody walking on top of it. We need a temporary solution. So they were surprised what had happened. We showed them where the crack was. We even showed Toby where the crack was because they saw my post on Facebook about it, saying thanks a lot to Homestead for making us visually impaired people fictional. Well, since I'm using Tarte on my eyes, I'm going to be using a Tarte blush. And so basically, they found a roll of duct tape and even used a index card to tape my cane back together. Trust me, it was embarrassing to say the least to see the patchwork, but it was temporary until I got back to work the next day to talk to one of the mobility instructors about getting a replacement. It did work out for the time being. Yeah, it was crooked, but it was the only thing that we could get done to help alleviate the situation. And again, I did say I almost burst into tears from the frustration of what had happened to me. And I never had that happen before. Trust me, the mobility instructor was not too happy, and I had to come into work with a shorter cane. But now I have a new cane and a better looking tip since my tip was rubbing down. Ever since I moved here, I ended up having my cane tip has been running down a lot faster ever since I moved here. which I noticed. Because I always had to walk to the what is it? Why am I blanking on words? To the mailbox and back. Always had to walk to the I'll use this Lord Geller highlight I got for free through Ulta. But again, it's now replaced. I am happy about that. Now I don't feel like, oh crap, I didn't blend my shadows together. Now I feel a lot better getting my cane back. And after that, I kind of feel like we're going to be sticking to Omni Fandom Expo and Ranger Stop this year, because here's the thing. People know who we are mostly at Omni Fandom Expo, and they understand my situation as a visually impaired person. Last year, on the Matsuri page, group page on Facebook, that there should be town criers, and people thought it was a good idea. But someone had to put the comment about people with noise issues. Yes, I understand that, but I did explain. Oh, there's my highlight brush. That there are quiet rooms. But I find it strange that visually impaired people don't have that many accommodations at many of the bigger conventions. Yeah, I did have the help during MegaCon, going to better seating, getting first in line. That was great. But with the pressing, I felt like they didn't understand that I'm visually impaired. I can't really see comic book stuff. That's why I do mostly voice actors and actors, since it's easier for me because I'm more familiar with their work. And cosplayers mostly have their own schedules to deal with, including judging a costume contest, because when I tried interviewing Riddle, it was hard to catch her for a certain time at her booth, because she's always running around with the other cosplayers, but was able to get it done. So I did do a post about the whole entire making the conventions more accessible to the blind, because I am not the only blind person that went to Holiday Matsuri in the past. Someone did comment on my post saying, yeah, I had a bit where I was asking where this certain event was, and they were pointing, and I tried explaining that I can't see, I am visually impaired. Now going into lips, and it's kind of awful to hear something like that, so that's why I'm linking down below my post for any conventions out there who want to make their convention more accessible to the blind. Please read that. It's important to know what to do in case if someone needs actual help or trying to make the convention more accessible. And plus, my tips kind of include this. Because I always post that I'm visually impaired. Sometimes it's hard for me to see pictures. But once that convention comes around, talking on Facebook and being in person is pretty different, because I kind of noticed that with Matsuri, especially that when the convention came, it was a lot more different than trying to execute the ideas that I put up, because there were no town criers. There was not much help, in person. Which, from what I noticed. And this took place, but as I said, we're probably sticking to Omni and Ranger stuff because they've seen me around the convention, especially during Ranger Stop this year. Staff, both the convention and the Halloween, hotel staff went far and beyond for me, as in telling me where to enter and exit, telling me where to go. I mean, even a valet helped me to get to convention registration, and someone who was cleaning the bathroom was like, yeah, your liquid lipstick is kind of askew. Let me help. That's what I expect for help. Going far. First tip, go far and beyond for anybody who's not only blind, but also disabled. As in, I mean, even at MegaCon, when people were in scooters, staff guided them to the elevator alongside with us. As in convention center staff. Go far and beyond. And not only that, teach your volunteers to do that too. Because I kind of feel like they don't understand that much, that there is going to be a blind person coming to the convention. How are we going to do that? Train them in your volunteer staff, as in no unsighted guide, how to help someone in a wheelchair, able to explain directions very well, as in telling somebody where to go. It's like, instead of pointing over there, because it does get annoying with that. Let's see. Definitely have the town criers, because that kind of works out. I mean, if you have a sound issue, try to wear earbuds. That's my tip. Because, trust me, a character in a book that I read that is autistic and has sound issues wore earmuffs, for example. Yeah, you have your quiet rooms, but school candies make pretty good earbuds that act as earplugs. Heck, I could hardly hear God rest my school candies in. And even Electric Daisy Carnival sells those kind of noise-proof earbuds. If the bass gets a little too high, especially in the bass zone for some of their performances. I've never been to Electric Daisy Carnival, but I've seen videos about the different areas you could go to for a performance. But as I said, oh, I forgot to set my face with setting spray. But back to my tips and advice. And also, please, if you see someone with a cane that is walking towards an event or something, please, for the love of everything holy and light, even peace and donuts, walk around them. Like, or wait until they pass through and then walk. Because I was lucky I didn't get hurt. Same with that other person. I was glad they didn't get hurt. But really, I know people are in a hurry and they get distracted easily, but not cool to walk in front. That's why you get hurt. I mean, remembered how I mentioned that person at UCF that did the same thing and almost broke my cane? Or my cane almost got cracked? They fell, like, partially fell over, and that would hurt them on the floor. Or twisted their ankle or something, and they would blame it on me. And I don't want that to happen. So, please, walk around them, not in front of them. Because, again, you could get hurt. And a tip with guide dogs, if they're in harness, don't pet them. They're supposed to be at work, and also they get distracted easily. That's another thing. And plus, the dogs could also get hurt too if someone kind of causes problems. I heard this one story in Vivid Barnacles earlier, tales that people have sent her, that someone's guide dog ended up being seriously injured at a convention. And don't want to have situations like that happen. Again, please walk around them. Please don't pet guide dogs. And also, please have some town criers as well, just in case. Or at least try to have, I mentioned this, if you have someone that can do the brailing for it, braille note cards on the, with schedule and everything, on the signs for panel rooms, because that can also help. And I guess that's about it. And please go far and beyond for your blind attendees, especially any other disabled attendees, because we want to enjoy the convention as anybody else. And after experiencing this, despite Holiday Matsuri giving us press passes every year at this point since 2015, we are probably, if we're coming back to Matsuri, we're only just going to go as attendees, probably for just one day or something. But since the press was so disorganized this past year, and another thing is that we're probably only focusing on Omni and Ranger Stop, unless if we're probably going to another convention, probably Metro again, because we definitely miss that convention a lot. And we even had a voice actor that's been a guest with them in the past. Find me and Gondress's profile on Facebook, which was amazing. And we always had a blast at those conventions. I had a major blast at Ranger Stop. I mean, getting to talk to Power Rangers from past series and more recent stuff, that was fun. I had a blast. And getting to interview some of them was even more of a blast too. And So yeah, I to anybody out there, please be kind and treat the disabled people with kindness and respect. We want to enjoy the convention like anybody else. And of course, I will still do press, but probably at other conventions, you'll probably see us. We are going to have better promo material starting with Omni Fandom Expo. We have a lot of things to come up. I'm so many things, so little time, and I think even more little time with work. I've been looking into pamphlet related stuff lately, so hoping we get some stuff coming up. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this makeup story time. If you guys want to hear any other stories, maybe I'll do another story time soon, but definitely in the next video, I will be adding to the Urban Decay look series since I have the Naked Cherry palette, got it for Christmas this past year, so hoping probably next week or the week after, I'll do that video for you guys. So until next time, stay beautiful, my nerds.